In Western psychology, we may call it dissociation or detachment, but in shamanic terms, this loss is seen as a literal fragmentation of the self. It's like losing pieces of who you are, the essence that carries your joy, your purpose, your sense of belonging in the world. Soul loss can often feel like persistent numbness, a sense of being disconnected from life and others, as though something has quietly slipped away. A journey through darkness. Experiencing soul loss is often described as walking through a darkened world where every familiar thing feels distant and disconnected. In some ways, it's like being surrounded by memories but unable to feel their warmth or even sense their meaning. We go through the motions of life, but something vital is missing, a piece of ourselves that holds our life force, our passion, and our sense of purpose. In shamanic ceremony, recognizing soul loss is a first step. It's an acknowledgement that we can no longer ignore the void or bury it under distractions. Instead, we make a conscious choice to walk through the darkness, to seek out the fragments of ourselves that have been hidden away. This journey isn't linear, it's not predictable. It takes us through the painful terrain of old wounds and memories, and yet each step holds the promise of reclaiming something essential. Calling back the fragments. The ritual of retrieving the soul often invokes both ceremony and deep inner work. The shaman serves as a guide, a keeper of the sacred space where the soul fragments feel safe enough to return. This process is personal and the journey looks different for everyone. For some, it's a reunion with lost innocence. For others, it's reconnection with courage or creativity that has been silenced by trauma. During the ceremony, we may be asked to confront past memories, acknowledge unresolved grief, or confront fears that have lingered for years. It's not easy work. In fact, it's fiercely honest and demands vulnerability. We don't simply call the soul back. We allow it to teach us what it needs and what it felt when it left and how we can honor its return. As we reclaim these parts of ourselves, we often rediscover our own inner strength, our resilience, and a sense of becoming what we may have forgotten. This process is like stitching together pieces of a sacred tapestry, each piece adding color, depth, and texture to the whole of who we are. The ceremony of soul loss and retrieval it's not just about healing, but it's about restoring the fullness of the self. It's a celebration of a return, a remembrance that even the broken parts of who we are. As we move forward, we begin to carry these pieces with reverence, knowing that each fragment has shaped us, taught us, and guided us towards growth. Reclaiming the soul's fragments is a deep ceremonial act of love. It reminds us that we are whole and that even our brokenness is sacred, that each part of us belongs on the journey towards healing and wholeness.